Hello, my name is Andrew Mosteller, and today I'm going to be discussing leadership and digital learning. Let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. Okay. Awesome. So when dealing with professional development, it is really crucial in the digital age that we live in. As a teacher, I need to be constantly bettering my ability to teach and use my skills effectively. If I'm, kind of stalling on, growing as a teacher, then I'm not really using my time as a teacher effectively. And that's where personal development comes in. In this presentation, I will lay out my plan to develop my digital skills to use in the classroom. So the first standard, according to the North Carolina Digital Competencies, it says that an effective teacher engages in virtual and face-to-face learning communities to expand mastery of technological applications for professional growth and student learning. So using this will allow me to aid students when they have like a technology bug or an issue, maybe submitting a paper or things not working right with Canvas or whatever the system I'm using. You can more efficiently use technology for student growth, right? If there's a better way to assess them, if there's a better way to assign papers, whatever it may be, it will definitely, mastering my skills, my technology skills will definitely help with that. And lastly, I can learn about new technologies that I might not have been aware of that can definitely help with students. So I will address this in the following ways. So I have and will continue to attend local tech communities that my school offers. We call them Next Tech on Deck. It's a I guess a little clever name, but they go over some really cool ways, not necessarily new technologies, but for example, I attended one that I really took and actually used in my classroom was on how to take a Google form and make kind of like a digital escape room. It's kind of like a fun activity for the students that they can also learn. And so that was a cool thing. You can integrate this technology that you may already be using in a more fun way or a more engaging way. I also will be attending a statewide tech improvement opportunity that my district actually paid for this summer. I will be attending the MELT program at App State University I believe my week is in early July, but I'll be learning about Desmos and how to integrate Desmos in the classroom. And also I can create design mastery lessons so I can lead tech mastery classes at my local school. So I am fluent in and kind of better equipped to be able to help other teachers learn particular technological tools such as LaTeX. I know it's the tool that you can use to type mathematical papers in, but it's also might be good for, let's say, physics or science. And I have approached someone to talk about maybe me leading my own class. And so that would be a good thing that would help me improve my mastery of a particular technology. So the second standard is that an effective teacher will take initiative with own personal growth to inform practice. And so if I take initiative over my own personal growth and development, it allows me to grow continuously as an educator and to be conscious of my own abilities, my own strong suits and my own deficits. That way I know what I need to improve on and I know what I'm confident in. And so I need to definitely take accountability for my own personal growth. I will address this by working with my local school. They will let me set up my own personal development plan. That's with the PDP. And they have department goals. So for the math department, we have particular goals that we would like to check off. A lot of those include technology, especially in the virtual world that we're living in today. There's district goals. And there's also personal goals that I have for myself, coming in as really a first year teacher this past January. It's been really difficult adjusting to all of the new technology. And I'm familiar in part with some pieces of the technology, but just incorporating them all together has been fairly difficult. And that's why a lot of my personal goals was to really learn the technology. And lastly, working through my PDP during the summer to ensure a smooth transition into the new school year. So basically, I've been working a lot on my PDP even since school has been out of session. I am teaching summer school, and so that does give me opportunity to work on a plethora of things in my PDP. That way, when the school year comes, it's not going to be, boom, I'm back at it again from doing nothing technology-wise to doing everything technology-wise. So that's going to be a good thing. The third standard says that an effective teacher also demonstrates leadership for technology innovation beyond my classroom. And so that's really the reason why I teach mathematics, so that it can be applied in various other things outside of the classroom. So the first thing, it allows students to apply their mathematical knowledge to innovate technology in the future, to pursue careers and interest in careers and hobbies, and incorporate mathematical thinking. So a lot of careers aren't necessarily math related, but they do involve mathematical thinking, critical thinking, and problem solving skills. And then lastly, illustrate the overall goals of mathematics education. In mathematics, we can learn the pure mathematics and then apply it to the physical world. And I will address this again in 3 ways. I will show the uses of mathematics along with the instructions. So as I'm teaching my students the nitty gritty of the math, I'm also going to be showing them why it's useful and things we can use the math for. I can also give them resources, maybe links to YouTube videos, things of that nature, where they can see what other people, some of the cool things that they're doing using mathematics and using science, technology, engineering, and again, math. And so I can provide my students with those links. So if they are curious, they can look at those themselves. And thirdly, I will encourage and set in-class time for my students to talk about these technological things that can be done with math. So I want to promote it. And really, I probably should have done point 3 before point 2, but talk about it in class and then give the students some extra resources that they can go to for help. The 4th standard is that I need to engage in peer collaborative problem solving through continuous planning, designing, testing, evaluation, and recalibration of teaching methods using appropriate digital technology. So if I am engaging in these practices, that will rub off on the students. And I do want to reiterate over and over with the students that mathematics is useful and it is important in our everyday lives. And so this, finding which teaching method is most effective, that is the scientific method, right? And I even want to reiterate that to my students so they can use technology in scientific disciplines, especially when employing the scientific method, when testing, when hypothesizing, when making conclusions. You can explore the iterative design process. So when you do something over and over and over and have many iterations, you can see what works and what doesn't work. And then lastly, it can boost the students' problem-solving skills. As I'm going through the problem of what teaching method works best for the particular set of students, that is definitely going to be an attitude that's going to be reflected by my students. I will address this by creating technology-centered group work that allows my students to delegate tasks as a team. So, there's not going to be set roles like leader or, like the leader of the group or whatnot, but they will kind of delegate work. Oh, you work on this, you work on that. And they can kind of get this environment in each group that they create themselves. The second thing is I will create projects that necessitate them using this iterative design process. They will learn exactly how things work over and over, right? They will learn how to better their design, better their whatever they may be working on. And lastly, I'll create work that allows students to present their findings, so that way students learn and realize that not only do they have to explain it to their group, but they need to be able to vocalize and explain these things to the entire class. So lastly, an effective teacher promotes open, lifelong learning as an iterative process of success, failure, grit, and perseverance. And this is the one that's really important, especially with mathematics, because a lot of people doubt their ability to do mathematics very harshly. And so we need to explain that mathematics is about making mistakes and getting better. So this allows students to use what they learn in principle when going off to college or in their adult life if they're not going to go to a four-year university. And they really embrace the spirit of mathematics because it's really trial and error and using your brain in creative ways to solve problems. That's really the spirit of mathematics. It takes failure, it takes grit, and it takes determination. And that's what mathematics really wants you to see. So I will address this by constantly reiterating principles of ethics, fairness, and equality, especially when it comes to the mathematics. You know, we definitely need to make sure that if we're ever designing something, if we're ever creating something, it needs to be fair, it needs to be ethical, and it needs to be equal. If they're going off to a four-year university, they need to know the ethics of what should I turn in, what should I submit as my own work, when should I credit who. And so that's something I want to reiterate over and over so it builds these lifetime patterns. You can illustrate the learning. I want to illustrate the learning process by showing the benefits of failure, right? We learn by failing. We learn by making guesses. We hypothesize, and we understand why we're wrong. And so that really boosts our learning. And lastly, I will create difficult extra credit problems for high-performing students to excel and go above and beyond the course material. This will really let them dive deep into some very, very complicated mathematics. And I think it's going to be very good for the learning process. Overall, these have been the 5 standards for leadership in digital technology. And my name is Andrew Mosteller. Thank you.